Hello once again. Today, December 8th, 2021. This is recording number 295, entitled Totally Trustworthy. Totally trustworthy. Totally meaning complete or full, not lacking anything. Trustworthy meaning able to put your complete trust without reservation. What is that? What is there that assures us that such a thing is available? To see the unseeable. To hear the inaudible. Just as a side note, our background for this sermon or teaching is Psalm 139, which basically tells us that God knows everything there is to know about us. There's nothing that he does not know, and that we need to become aware of how much he knows about us, that we might be trusting to trust him to do what he has done. So to be totally trustworthy, you have to be able to see the unseeable, to hear the inaudible, to see the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God. Now, if you're allowing your consciousness to kind of float around and look at what I'm saying, you should be hearing a knowing. There's something beneath what I'm saying that causes you to be able to see, to hear, to know, to be able to know that which you can see or hear is trustworthy. You can take it to the bank and you will not be, you will have no reservations as to whether or not what you're presenting will be respected. To know as you are known. Remember I said, God knows everything there is. He knows our sitting down. He knows our getting up. He knows everything about us. He knows what we're thinking. He knows why we think it. So therefore, we need to understand that the understanding of God is what we have to have. For some strange reason, we have come to a belief that God is like a man. He's like we are. So therefore, we make God over in the image and likeness of us. So therefore, God must have an opinion. God must be able to change his laws. God must be able to change his mind. And if you're not careful, you'll begin to see God as a man. Once you see God as a man, you've lost all of that which God has promised, because God is not a man. But if you ask me what is God, I don't know. But I know God is the intelligence of the universe. I know there is no place where there is not God. I even wonder, why do we call it God? And then I understand God is the word derived from a German word which was called gut, or good, all good, lacking nothing. So therefore, once we understand, somebody dropped an O out and start calling it God, it simply means all authoritative, having nothing above it, having nothing under it that can subvert or dissolve or cause war. So now we begin to understand truly what it means to be cast out of heaven. Heaven is the place where all is perfect. Heaven is the place where there is nothing lacking. So therefore, how would one be cast out? To not know this perfection. To not understand how this perfection works, and you are immediately cast out. You should hear this little voice that's speaking underneath everything that's going on, it says you need to know as you are known. You need to be in touch with the infinite. God is infinite. So then what is infinite? Infinite means never ending. So will we ever come to the end of God or the full understanding? I don't know. But I really don't care. Because once I understand that there is a knowing, and this knowing drives anything and everything unlike God, it drives it out of where? Heaven. It drives it out of what? Eden. It drives it out of what? Out of perfection. Did you notice what I'm saying? It drives it out of. When these things are driven out of, what's left? Perfection. Eternality. Infinity. This is what we are striving to do. To understand all that God created. But then, how can God create if God always has been? Interesting. So if God is not creating anything, where does everything come from? Intelligence. Everything comes from this intelligence. So how does it form itself? The intelligence has the ability to shape itself. That's what we call what? Conscience. Practically, think about the man who creates a house, the man who creates a car, the man who creates a hammer, the man who creates a nail. Where does he get the ability to do this? He goes within his consciousness and he designs. The difference between a man designing and God designing is that the man can only design something that will last for a time period, as we call it. But that which is made by God or brought forth from God is what? Eternal, infinite. Now you begin to see the masterpiece that you actually are. You come forth from the intelligence of God, meaning you come forth from what? Perfection. You are perfection. You are made upright, perfect. Why? Because your basis from whence you come is that. And anything, when you know this, anything unlike that, cast out. You should be able to see the war in heaven now. You should be able to see the devil, as they call him. You should be able to see it. Why? Because a devilish thought cannot coexist with perfection. So therefore, you're cast to what? Cast to a lower state. Now you can see the third of the angels. Remember? A third of the angels. What is man? Man is body, soul, and spirit. He is three parts. Now you see the war. Because he has entertained something, and he has entertained good and evil, that's it. That's what cast him out. But Jesus Christ came and did what? To save your soul, to restore your soul. Thou hast caused me to lie down in green pastures beside still waters. Restores my soul. Restores it to what? To the perfect blueprint from whence it came. So what's going to happen to the third part of me that's been cast to the earth? Redeemed. Redeemed, that I might be made whole. Oh, this is so easy to talk about. But it is so hard. Why? Because we have gotten intertwined with all of the good and evil in this earth. Tell me how easy it is for you to ignore what you see going on all around you 24/7. How can you just look out and look at somebody and say, where are your accusers? No, you want them prosecuted. Jesus would say, where are your accusers? You murderer, you whoremonger, you thief, where are your accusers? Because when the presence of the Lord, you need to see what went on in that little situation. When the presence of the Lord came to accuse, and the accuser were around that woman, what did the presence of the Lord do? It forgave. It acknowledged but it simply said what? Go and entertain good and evil no more. To see and feel that which every person would surely give all to have. Do you sit and think about this? Do you entertain the thought of what it would be like to walk this earth without a care? Where are you at this point? You're in the holy mountain, aren't you? You way up on the holy mountain and you're seeing the pattern that's being shown to you. But you're going to be sent down into the valley, aren't you? You're going to be sent down to the area to where you have to use this. You're going to have to be sent down to that area to use what you've seen in the holy mountain. And it's not easy. Because when you come down here, these people ain't playing. They want what they want, and they want it now. They want everything. You would surely, if you're honest with yourself, you would give everything you own to have that holy mountain experience and to be able to live in it. To express or experience the love of the promise. Wow. Has God not promised that you should live with him in the Spirit? Well, then, are you willing to give up that car to have that? Are you willing to give up that trip to Europe to have that? How much time are you spending forming a car in your yard or a new big 90-inch screen TV in your living room as opposed to walking in the reality of the perfection and what was shown you on the mountain? Because you sit down and you think about the promises of God. Where do you think you are when you're thinking about these things? He's showing you the blueprint. Every man's dream is to experience true freedom. To do so is to find that in which one knows to be totally trustworthy. If I were to walk out of my house and know that nothing can harm me, would I do it? With bells on. So why do I walk out of my house saying, oh, Lord, please protect me as I go on my journey and watch over me and make sure that no hurt or harm or danger? Why do I pray that prayer when he told me in the fullness, in the presence of the Lord, is the fullness of joy? If I'm in the presence of the Lord, is there fullness of joy? I have to consciously know this, don't I? Like I told a man the other day, you just can't walk out on a basketball court and look at somebody and say, crossover. You got to go practice that crossover until you get it to the point to where you know. The one to behold with the utmost respect, God. To see the kingdom revealing its essence within. a knowing, to trust in that which is omnipotent, omniscience, and omnipresence when things appear to go awry. To be able to trust unconditionally in him who promised. He called Abraham righteous. He said, I call those things which be not as though they were. So what is he calling you? My dear son, in whom I am well pleased. That's the blueprint on the mountain. Why are you looking at what you appear to be here in the earth or what people are telling you you are here in the earth? Why are you looking at that? Get on the mountain. You ever notice contractors when they're building something, you ever notice they always got the blueprint laid out on the table? They're reading that blueprint as though it's the real thing. The structure going up is only what? Their interpretation of what they're looking at on that piece of paper. And they can point on that piece of paper at a wall socket and go to the structure that's standing there and go right to that area, and there that wall socket is. You should be able to point at God in your consciousness and see him and see the promise so that when you get up and walk out on the street, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because the knowing is with me. To be able to trust unconditionally in him who promised. Totally trustworthy. To know that which is required of me, he will perform. Wait a minute. What did I just take away from you? The responsibility of having to do anything other than what? Trust. And trusting is not easy. But all you got to do is say, Lord, I'm trying to trust. All that is about me is trying to trust, is reaching out to trust. Remember, he's not a man. The substance that created you is acknowledging your heart, reaching out, whether you're in fear or whether you're in faith or whether you're in trust. Doesn't matter. It's reading your heart. That which is required of me, he will perform, and that I know that is lacking, he will perfect. Wow. I think you got that. That feeling, that confidence that comes assuring that you have found the path, the guidance, the one that will lead and guide through every seeming difficulty. Yeah, thank you, Caleb. My outer man may not actually feel like everything is going okay, that everything is cool, but I know that which he has placed within me, what? His substance, his presence. My every thought, my every action, I place before his presence. For he has made me to see his trustworthiness. Why did I make that statement? Because of the moments that I speak of in the past, to where you acknowledge that the presence of God, you recognize the presence of God is there. That's God showing you. But where is this showing? Where is it coming from? Woo, it's coming from within me. Is it not? It's coming from me knowing. It's coming from me understanding. It's coming from within me. It's not for me to go out here and tell people, I know the Lord. Look how good the Lord is. I look around me and I see all these people out here getting hurt, harmed, and they're walking around talking about how good God is. Their lives are falling apart. Look how good God been to me. with the first glimpse of the kingdom and its reality, we begin to open our whole self that we would be able to see God face to face. A lot of people are scared to do that. I'm not. Kill me. That's my thing. I want to see you face to face. God is love. Would God kill himself? Remember, the substance from which I'm made is the substance from which God is. So for me to die has to mean something other than what I've been taught that it might mean. Face to face with my Creator, we begin to understand that all the things we have thought impossible are now very possible. For we fall in love with love, knowing that love is alive and trustworthy. We begin to realize that love is our substance and that we have no enemy. We are purified by its substance permeating our conscience, driving out all that would hinder. We now begin to recognize that we cannot escape the spirit of love, for in it we live, move, and have our being. I can see the Master right now, standing on the mountain, screaming out, "Hear, O Israel! Israel. Hear, O Son of God. Hear, O man, man, Ra, who would rule as El, God." That's what Israel means in Aramaic, in Hebrew. The man who would rule as God. And where does he get this authority to rule? From his Creator. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Go now, make disciples of men, teaching them all that I have taught you. Can you see it? Baptizing them in my name. What? Baptizing them in the substance that no man can raise up against. We now see that through the issues of life, however difficult they may appear, our concerted attention on the wholeness of life is transforming or renewing our minds and forming us into that which was planned from the beginning. God has a plan for you, and there is no judgment in this earth that can deter that plan. For he who has begun a good work in you shall complete it until the day of Christ Jesus. So think about it. How are you going to get away? How are you going to fail? You might put it off or cause it to go a bit longer than it's supposed to, but he who has begun a good work in you, can God fail? There is no place where this spirit is not, and there is no negative action that can overthrow its dominion. Can you see the shield I'm putting up around me? Walk upright before me. What is God saying for us? When he says walk upright, he is simply saying, keep me ever present and foremost on your mind, and I shall be a shield that goes before you, and I shall be a buckler that knocks down anything that's coming against you. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. It is said that when the seed of God is planted in good soil, it will produce fruitage, some 30, some 60, and some 100-fold. Until the operation of this dynamic law is experienced, we remain mortal at best. We cannot make it work for us, but at the first recognition of its automatic response to right consciousness, good soil, we know that we have found the pearl of great price, and we begin to sell all our personal beliefs and opinions that we have become the witnesses that we were told we would be. The stories begin to make sense. They're not just Bible stories that we're supposed to get animated over and say, yeah, I want that. No. We have to see the essence within the story. That's why he says, you shall hear a voice behind you, a small, still voice that says, this is the way, walk ye in it. It's not for you to go out and proclaim to people you found God. Go find me a Christian out there that will admit that they have not found God. No. They all believe they have, don't they? Yeah. That's why they're Christians. So it's not for me to go out and tell somebody they haven't. It's for me to go out and understand that I have. And because I have, I see the fruitage 30, 60, 100-fold. But I don't see the fruitage and say, look at what God has done for me. I anticipate the fruitage because I have the knowing. I am trusting in that, which is ever before me and will never leave me. In conclusion, we shall find him when we feel after him with our whole heart, our whole being. For he is not far from us as supposed by some, but nearer to us than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. What happens when I come to that understanding? Now you begin to get this confidence. Jesus is like, hey, y'all, when y'all see me, you see the substance that sent me. You're seeing the formation that God sent into expression. Behold the glory of the Lord. What is the glory of the Lord? Man is the glory of the Lord, for no man has ever seen God. But when you see the man, you're looking at the total essence of God, whether it's appearing good and evil, or whether it's appearing as the glory of God, full of faith. We shall go, or where shall we go from his spirit? Whither shall we flee from his presence? Can gold decide to leave the ring that's on your finger? Can glass decide to leave the glass? Can glass decide to leave the container from which you drink? Where can I go? You have to be able to see the joining that you can't get away from. The very essence of who you are, the very essence of what you are. Stop trying to do anything with it and recognize that's what you are. And spend your time digging in that recognition. That is what I am. Where shall I flee? Where can I go from his spirit? In heaven, when I am in a heavenly state, what do I find? I find him there, don't I? filling all space. And should I descend into hell or the experiences that try to convince me of separation, His loving presence is there too to deliver. So where can I go? Nowhere. I am ever before Him, and He is ever within me. He makes up everything around me. All in all, we walk with a new confidence that we have found to be totally trustworthy. God bless you.